All right, we're here with Tommy Kessler. Now, you may know the name from Rock of Ages if you happen to be in New York and you saw the Broadway show, because he's a regular on that when he's not touring with Blondie. Tommy Kessler in studio because he is visiting Sacramento and will be playing guitar with Blondie out at Sunrise Marketplace Outdoor Pavilion. We were just talking about that. Tommy, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
All right, I understand you're just here from the Greek.
Yep, L.A.
And you took a bus.
Yeah, we take a bus everywhere. I just learned Devo likes to fly, and we like to take the bus. We like sleeping in bunks. It's comfortable in our little coffins.
There you go.
On long rides.
Do you find that bus trips versus plane trips from venue to venue gives you some decompression time?
Yeah, I think so. You don't have to deal with the security and the checking in, the checking out, the waking up early, get on the flight. I don't mind the bus. I like the tour buses.
How long have you been guitar with Blondie?
About 2.5 years.
All right, let's do a little bit of Tommy Kessler history.
Okay.
First of all, if people would like, they can go to TommyKessler.com, or if you want, you can go to Classic931.com, and we'll link you to his website. Tricky way to do that, and there you'll find out a little bit about Tommy. And but for those that aren't near a computer and are listening on the radio right now, tell me where your career began, Tommy.
My career began. My mom's a classical pianist, so it started right pretty young.
There you go.
I started when I was 12 playing guitar, and my first real job was probably at 20 at a place called Shadowbox Cabaret in Columbus, Ohio. From there, I went and played a regional production at Cats. My mom got me that gig, and then that brought me to New York. I think a couple months after that ended, and then from there on, it's been Blue Man Group, Rock of Ages, Blondie.
Tell me how, we've got to talk a little bit about Blue Man Group before we get into Blondie, because I am such a fan. Now, in your bio, it says, besides being a guitar player, it says that in the Blue Man Group you played stick. Now, those that know Blue Man Group know that there are a lot of sticks and a lot of drums and a lot of blue. What is it that Tommy Kessler did that was stick?
It was a Chapman stick. It's like a 10-string instrument. You play it with two hands.
Big tall thing, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. That's
like
a
war
stick.
Guitar, Chapman stick, all those things. Yeah, they use it in a very, very unique way. It's not a traditional Chapman stick way, but yeah, you had to learn to stick. They have a thing called a zither, electric zither. It's another very unique way they play it. And then you got guitar and bass.
Now, did you have to blue out?
No, we don't blue out. We neon out. We wear fluorescent paint, black bodysuits with fluorescent signs, and we play in black light. So all you see is that.
How fun was that?
That was a blast. That was probably that was my introduction really to, I guess, having a real steady gig in New York, So and I subbed on that. I did anywhere from 3 shows a week to 8, 9, sometimes on the busy weeks.
Now you're with Rock of Ages on Broadway in New York. How'd you get that gig?
Joel from Night Ranger, the other guitar player, Brad. He's the opposite of Brad. And I don't know, about 6 months before Rock of Ages started on off Broadway, I contacted Joel because of a guitar maker. And I said, hey, I'm in New York, just another guitar player. I want to say hi, introduce myself. I sent him a few YouTube videos, things like that, the typical you got to do it these days, YouTube. And 6 months later, he called me out of the blue and said, hey, I got this gig on, it's called Rock of Ages. I'm the lead guitar, and I need a sub. I checked out videos of you, blah, blah, blah. And then he, asked if I was interested in subbing for him. And then the big catch was that I had to do the first show. Because he would be out with Night Ranger. Yeah. So that was after, he's like, so here's the next thing. You have to go through all the tech and everything because you're going to be doing the very first preview. And so.
Very, very popular show. What's the audience responses have been like to?
They've been great. We've moved theaters. We're at the Helen Hayes now. And it's a really cool, intimate, more of like it's like a 500-seat theater, so it's a little more like like a rock and roll place. Whereas the last one before that was over 1,000. It was a big Broadway theater, so we feel a lot more at home in the rock and roll setting.
Okay, let's move forward into the present. You've been with Blondie touring for a couple of years. I know if you go to Tommy's website, he'll actually give you a look at his rig.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, folks. We're not talking about that rig. We're talking about the stuff that he uses on stage that he plugs all his guitar into, and all of the cool pedals and stuff. So you could check it out. And I think that one was done in 2010.
Yes.
So let's flash forward. You still got that same rig?
I have 95% of that same rig. I'm going to shoot another video this, who knows, in a week, whenever the moment strikes on these next tour, on this tour, I'll shoot another one with the update. There's a few new pedals, a couple new guitars. I still bring out my, I don't know how geeky you want to get with gear, but I still bring out my Schroeder chopper. I have these two new Cower guitars, and I always have a Gibson Les Paul with me for days when nothing else works. And I'm like, well, I know that one always works, and I know the sound of it.
There you go. Look, the Blondie show, for those that are going to be going tomorrow night, because this interview is running today, Thursday as well, and Friday. So tell me, what's the Blondie experience like these days?
Well, we added something new to the show since we're out with Devo, because Devo has an LED screen. So we jumped on board with it, and that is probably that'll be the thing that people who come see us every time we tour. When we stop through their town, that's the thing they'll notice, is that there's an LED screen behind us, and it adds a lot to the show. Stage setup's a little different now. We kind of move things around. It's not as traditional with the drummer in the middle and the guitar players on the wings. It's a little different now.
Interesting.
So yeah,
okay.
It's definitely different this year.
And in regards to the hits and the music, what is it? If you had to pick 2 or 3 songs that the audience seems to anticipate and can't wait to get to, what would they be?
I feel like every night the ones that take people back and that they jump out at is Rapture. Like, people love that. It never fails, no matter what the energy level is, whether they're throwing the energy out or if they're just enjoying it in their own way. Rapture comes, and I feel like everybody jumps at that one.
Outstanding. And I'm guessing you cover all the hits.
We do as many as we can. It's with the co-headlining with Devo, we're kind of limited to time. It's not like an opener plays for 35 minutes and then the headliner plays for an hour and a half or 2 hours. So we're kind of have to split it. So we get as much in there as we can.
What's it like working with Deborah Harry?
It is very. Sometimes sometimes I look up there and I'm like, I'm up here with an icon, a legend, and it's very. It brings you down. You wonder. You're like, what? How did I get up here? What am I doing up here?
Very cool.
And but she's really nice. She's very. You can tell she's very creative and sees things in a different way, which so does Chris and Clem. They see things, and there's a reason that their music that they wrote 35 years ago is still relevant, and used today. Yeah,
how many of the original band are still with Blondie?
That's 3.
Just the 3. Okay.
Yeah, it's Debbie, Chris, and Clem. Drummer, other guitar player, Chris, and Debbie.
All right. Well, take a moment and give a shout out to our listeners and invite them to the show, Tommy.
Well, I hope any of you Blondie fans that haven't already bought tickets are going to come and see the show tomorrow after hearing this interview. It's at Sunrise Marketplace Pavilion, and I'm excited to play there and see what this whole mall experience is about.
You will be outdoors. You will not be in the food court, I promise. It's a great place. It's a great outdoor venue, and it's a wonderful kind of an experience. I think you'll enjoy it as much as the audience. Okay, we're going to digress into the guitar world, since I'm a guitar player, and I've got to.
I heard.
And we might have some other those that go online and take a look at your guitar playing videos and so forth. Tell me a little bit about your guitar playing background.
My mom's classically trained, so that's kind of the way I went. I took classical lessons for a while, did the Spanish thing a little bit, which you'll see in the Blondie show. There's a Spanish flamenco type break of a song I wrote like 6 or 7 years ago. It's stuck right in the middle of one of Blondie's new songs. So I did that, and then I went to the whole Randy Rhoads, and then Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai. I went through the guitar heroes from the '80s. That's kind of how when Rock of Ages came around, it was a perfect fit.
Speaking of, I digress. You play Guitar Hero?
No, I've never played Guitar Hero.
I want you to know. My daughters and her friends, they played, and they were really good. And I kicked back and just kind of watched, and I thought, well, I'm a guitar player. I'm just going to show them. You can't
possibly be good.
I'm going to show them how it's done. And I was horrible.
Yep, I have said that. Anytime anyone asks me, have I played it? I'm like, I know I haven't, and I'm assuming I'm not good.
I would avoid it. It could go badly for you. But
then
again,
ruin my reputation.
Then again, I've seen your work. You never know.
Although I did grow up playing video games a lot. I will admit that. I'm a video game hound.
There you go. And
I have an old Nintendo with me on tour.
Really? No Pong, though.
No Pong. No, I'm not not the Atari. I came at the Nintendo.
Guitar style, are you a pick kind of guy, a fingered kind of guy, or a little of both?
Well, yeah, I'm a hybrid guy because of the classical stuff, and Randy Rhoads was a classical guitar player, and so I just kind of started doing everything. You'll see if you actually watch my right hand on a show, the pick goes in and out. I have no idea. It just happens to be. Not. Yeah, the whole flamenco thing is a hybrid picking. Sometimes it all depends on what I feel.
I always like to talk to great guitar players about others, guitar players, and you've mentioned some already. Eric Johnson. Mm-hmm. You familiar with Eric's work?
I mean, I'm familiar with some, obviously Cliffs of Dover. I think that's you gotta learn how to play that, or you at least have to attempt to learn how to play that, which I attempted. I don't think I ever got it down.
Yeah, if you get a chance, I did see one of his shows at the Crest Theater. The guy's got fingers that are like this long.
Oh yeah,
of course he's a tall man and pretty amazing stuff.
Every time I watch, Vi, Paul Gilbert, Eric Johnson. All those guys, they have, and Joel from Night Ranger, which I can't, he's probably the best guitar player I've ever been on stage with. And I look at his fingers and he's got long fingers. And I look at mine, I'm like, I got dealt a shorthand. Yeah, I got chubbies.
Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't seem to be impacting your ability in any way.
I've spent a lot of time working around that speed bump.
Do you find that there are particular styles and particular things with guitar that you still aspire to do?
I mean, a lot of times these days I'm producing and writing so much and learning, about we just had our geek talk about the microphones and the all that stuff. So the only thing I really practice these days is when I got into Rock of Ages. Joel's a big 8-finger tapping guy.
Right.
He's very, very fluid at it, and it just works really well. So I started, learning tricks of that, and I dabble with that and practice it a little bit, but that's about as far as, I guess that's the only new thing that I've really worked on.
Is there another instrument? I don't know about you, but as a guitar player, I always wanted to be the drummer. I don't know. I always thought the drummer was the coolest guy in the band. You're flipping the sticks and playing air drums. And band practice oftentimes was at our place because we lived out in the middle of the country. And so the stuff was there. Yeah. So when nobody was around, I would get on the drums and never really could figure it out. Is there an instrument that you've always wanted to do?
Well, ironically, I just started playing drums maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I played drums growing up. I was a drummer in band and stuff like that. My brother played drums. That was his instrument. He went to that road, and so it wasn't. Yeah, I just started playing drums. I mean, it does come natural to me, but. I'm definitely not. I'm not slinging sticks or anything like that. And but it's a blast. I could play drums for hours, and it's I don't know. It's like learning a new instrument. But when I play in a band, I'm always paying attention to the drummer. And when I think about when I'm writing music, I'm always thinking about the beat. Like what are the beats right now in today's music? What are in the hits and stuff like that? What kind of rhythms are they doing? So I'm always paying attention to the drums, but. I just decided a couple months ago. I was like, I'm going to sit down at a drum set, and I'm going to start doing this.
All right.
So
well, good.
I got a drum set in my studio, and that's what I'm doing.
Good luck with that. All right, we're all counting on you.
Oh.
Next time we see you, it'll be Tommy Kessler on drums with Madonna.
I don't foresee that. I don't think I'll become a hired gun as a drummer. I do not.
Well, we digress. I don't know. I think I've probably picked your brain enough. We're getting into just what Tom wants to know now. So at this particular point, we'll call it a day and say, Tommy Kessler, thanks for joining us here at Classic 93.1, and enjoy the show tomorrow out at Sunrise. Okay?
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right.